The developmental process of learning to spell is important in both reading and writing. However, reading and writing are also important when learning to spell. This symbiotic relationship allows children to grow into literate students. By using a phonics and pattern based spelling curriculum with room for both high frequency words and developmental spelling, we are setting your children up for success in both reading and writing. As parents of young children, you have seen your child grow and develop in many ways. You saw their grip develop while handling utensils and toys, and their balance and coordination develop as they learn to walk, run, and jump. Learning to spell is no different. Children start to learn through observation, move on to imitation, and through practice, students are able to present you with something they have written or read stories to you. Children often begin writing very early. Having observed you taking notes, writing a grocery list, or copying down a recipe, most children realize early on that writing is important. Many children begin by grabbing a pad of paper and drawing symbols and lines to represent words. They then move on to making these symbols mimic words and sentences. They follow a left to right pattern, and there are spaces. Children may even ask you, "What does it say?" By this time, many children are also gaining alphabetic knowledge. Typically, children are introduced to the alphabet song fairly early in life, and at this point are beginning to recognize and name certain letters, particularly those in their name. By this time, many children are exposed to school in some form, and during school, children begin to be formally exposed to reading and writing. They gain print awareness and begin to follow conventions when they are writing. And in their own writing, students begin to add the letters they know in random orders to express thoughts and ideas. Many students can even read you their writing. They know what they're trying to say, they just don't have the skills to express it yet. This is typically where formal spelling instruction begins. At this early age, students are exposed to high frequency words that can help them in their reading and writing, but do not have a typical spelling pattern. These words are introduced early to aid students in reading and writing instruction. Many teachers use visual aids and songs to help students internalize these important words. However, real spelling knowledge begins when students are introduced to onset and rhyme. Now, many students who walk into the classroom have a basic understanding of onset and rhyme from nursery rhymes,
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
and rhyming games.
I'll put the hat on the cake. What is another word that rhymes with drink? Dante? Bake. Shape.
Students learn to recognize the beginning sounds or onsets of words first. We take words and we find the beginning sounds. Star is st, r. Cat is k, at. Ship is sh, ip. And pot is p, ot. Students take this knowledge and begin to label pictures with the letters or letter that stands for the onset of what they are drawing, and write using their knowledge of beginning sounds and sometimes assortments of other random letters. We see that this student has a grasp on the sight word the and the onset of the word bats. He has made the common mistake of writing the der onset in drink with a j. Teachers are then able to build this knowledge naturally into word families. These groups of words teach rhyme, or the vowel and ending sound. Words that have matching rhymes sound the same, thus allowing students to use their previous knowledge of the other kind of rhyme. Words that rhyme with a Y sound the same. Words that have matching rhyme with an I sound the same and use the same spelling pattern. Confused yet? Simply, rhymes are parts of words that refer to a spelling pattern. They begin with a vowel sound and end before the next vowel sound. The word different has the onset d and three rhymes: if, and ent. Teachers are able to teach a word with an easy to recognize rhyme like star, cat, ship, or pot, and spark their knowledge that if they can spell cat, they can also spell rat, hat, and mat. And if they can spell star, they can also spell far, car, and tar. Teachers are able to assess how students are developing by observing them as they read and attempt to spell. This concept also teaches children to split the word on an onset rhyme border, which is shown to help children be more successful in reading and writing. Students who can look at the word ship and see ip will have an easier time than students who see ip or even ship. Once students are able to recognize, write, and sound out all of their consonants and short vowel sounds, their spelling really begins to take off. And as students begin to chunk their words, they are able to easily build and spell longer and more complex words. Teachers are able to introduce more complex spelling patterns and long vowel patterns. Students learn about the super E that makes its partner vowel say its own name, and that when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking, to help them internalize patterns that they will meet in many words they come across during primary school. Inventive spelling is an extremely important tool for self-expression, and when nurtured, can lead to a love of writing. In this picture, we see an illustration of a child picking flowers. Her sentence is easy to read. Notice the high frequency words that she has spelled correctly, and how she has spelled picking and flowers phonetically. She heard p, e, k, e, n. As a teacher, this tells me that she heard the onset correctly, but that she has trouble distinguishing between a short I and a short E sound. She also has not grasped the ing ending. Just by observing her spelling of picking, her teacher is able to gain insight into her grasp on word structure and how we use letters to represent speech sounds. As students begin to have the ability to decode and write longer and more complex words, their knowledge of onset and rhyme will help them to find patterns that they recognize. They are able to hear the words they write as they stretch their words, and as they develop a deeper vocabulary and knowledge of spelling patterns, their spelling becomes more conventional. As a final overview, here are the 5 stages of spelling development. Pre-communicative stage. Your child uses recognizable letters from the alphabet, but shows no letter-sound correspondence. Semiphonetic stage. Your child will start showing some understanding of onset. Children sometimes use one letter to represent words or syllables. Phonetic stage. Your child will start to show an understanding of a word's rhyme. They will begin to stretch and chunk words to hear the sounds in them. Transitional spelling. Your child will begin to recognize complex spelling patterns in the words they write, as well as show a deeper understanding of long and short vowel sounds. Conventional spelling. Your child will spell every or almost every word conventionally, making use of prefixes and suffixes. With all of this great knowledge, however, comes great responsibility. Please remember that every child develops spelling skills at different rates, just as they each learn to talk and walk at different rates. Give your children ample time to read and write, and they will grow into readers and writers more and more each day.